guys, so I'm here with another Disney adventure video. I haven't done one of these in a couple months, which I'm really sorry for. But here I am with The Lion King, so it's a great one to come back on with. The Lion King is an awesome movie. It's a classic. It's a movie I've watched so many times. It's a movie that I have on DVD and I always bring it with us whenever we go on trips and that are long enough that we need to watch movies for. I listen to the songs all the time. It's an amazing film. The voice acting is amazing. It's a film that really showed that the little guys is as good as the people who have been doing this for years, which I'll talk about more in the facts part of this video. But it's just an amazing movie and it means so much to me. I don't know how it's this good. It's a movie that I think I could watch it on repeat and never get bored of it. It's awesome. I love it. I love the animation. The animation is amazing. 2D animation is one of my favorite things that a film can ever do. 2D animation is awesome. It never looks dated, which is something that I think is really awesome in a movie. And I like Snow White, which came out a long time ago. I don't think people really know how long that movie came out. It came out in the 1930s. And it still doesn't look dated. Yeah, some of the thing where women should only cook and clean, yeah, that's dated. No. But the animation is not dated, which I can say that Dinosaur, which came out in the early 2000s, looks dated. It's kind of because I don't like Dinosaur very much, but this is not about Dinosaur. And this animation is beautiful. I love 2D animation, as I said, and it's wonderful 2D animation. I don't know how someone made it that good. It's a movie you watch and multiple times you find different little symbolisms, and when you get older you also see a lot more that you didn't understand when you were younger. It's a movie that every single time you watch it, you get something out of it that you've never seen before, and I love movies like that. And yeah, you can watch it as a kid, and you can watch it later when you're a little bit older and get something different from it, because it's teaching so many things in a way that's not in your face that it, let's face it, some movies that are animated that have a theme for them are so in your face, and there's no way you can miss them. And yeah, there's a ton of themes that are larger than others, but even those little ones, when you watch it again, you see a different part of the story that makes you love it even more. At least in my opinion, I love it so much. Yeah, I love the music. This music deserves all the love, and it gets all the love, and I am so happy it does, because it's amazing. This music, it's it has so much heart to it, and it's amazing at the same time, which is something that it's really hard to do, to have things have so much passion and heart and soul in it and also make it sound amazing, because I'm one of the few people. I know the internet smashes the live action remake, and personally it's not better than the original, not by a long shot, but I don't think it's the worst live action remake, not by a long shot either. It's actually one of the better ones in my opinion, but the music, especially Hakuna Matata, it doesn't have any heart and soul in it in the live action remake, and it does in the original. In the original, you can see that the people behind the mic are like really excited about what they're doing and are really putting their all into this song. And I love it when you can hear it in their voices, because it seems like these people behind the mic and the characters that they are portraying are having so much fun. And I love it when you can see that, when you can see that they are really putting their all into their performances, and I love it. And I think that that's shown in the voice acting and in the singing department, and just the lyrics and all that stuff. I love it so much. They definitely deserve that Academy Award. Yeah, it's amazing. I really just find all of this to be amazing. I'm saying amazing way too much, but it's just, it's so good. It's one of those movies that I don't think I've ever met a single person who dislikes it, and that's saying a lot. There's probably someone out there, if you're out there, which I'm sure you are, there are people with different opinions, please comment down below. I want to know if you actually exist. And that's not me saying that, like, your opinion is wrong, not at all. It's just, I don't think I've ever met someone who dislikes this movie. Or even, like, yeah, there's people who are like, okay, that's a good movie, but I don't think I've met anyone who's like, yeah, I dislike that movie, ever. Which says a lot when you're a film, or anything, because people have different opinions, and that's fine. But I personally think that this is a great film that has so many little things that you can take away as an adult. I'm not an adult yet, but when you're older and when you're younger, because when I watched it as like a little kid, I remember being like, oh, the cool songs and pretty colors, but now that when I'm watching it now, I understand more symbolisms and things like that, and yeah, it's just a film that I have so many good memories, and it's so nostalgic to me. Not as nostalgic as other Disney films, like Frozen. Frozen's really nostalgic to me, which I'll talk about when we get to Frozen, which I am so excited for. It's really far off, but I cannot wait to get to Frozen, because then I'll be able to unpack all my feelings on my nostalgia and why I love it so much and why people need to love that film more. But this is an amazing movie, and I love it. The animation's wonderful, the voice acting is wonderful, the songs are amazing. Like, it's all just great. I can't really think of any minor criticisms that I have of it. Yeah, I just really like it. I also love Scar. I've not talked about Scar, and I've not talked about hyenas. Okay, Ed is the best. I love Ed. Ed is so, like, so amazing. I love Ed. I love him. Jim Cummings voices him, which I might be a little bit biased because of that, but his character is awesome. I just love how insane he is. And like, I don't know what's going on in his brain, and I am so, like, it's one of those people that, it's an animal, but if it was a person, it would be one of those people that you want to know what's going inside their head, but you're kind of scared to. And those people are always so much fun to be around. And I have a little friend with me, and Pumbaa. Rue got him for me for my birthday a couple years ago, and I love him. Pumbaa's amazing. That was a weird transition going about how much I love Ed into going about Pumbaa, but let's act like it's not. I love Pumbaa and Timon. Pumbaa is amazing, and I love him. I love how they're all presented as characters. I know they are comic relief, which could have gone like, I personally am a person who finds comic relief characters amazing, but I do understand if you don't like them, because sometimes comic relief characters can go too far, and I understand that. Don't make your comic relief character go nonstop. Please don't. But I personally find them really funny, and I like them a lot. But yeah, I think that Timon and Pumbaa, like, their characters, the people who wrote the characters knew when to stop and not go overboard. And yeah, it was nice. I love them. They're amazing characters. I love Scar. I have not talked about Scar in this video, and I am really confused why, because I love him. He has one of my favorite quotes of all time that I use in my day-to-day language all the time, and it's, "I'm surrounded by idiots." My mom and I say that all the time. All the time. Whenever, like, someone does something really strange, which it's out of love, but I say, "I'm surrounded by idiots," and it's such a great quote. I love it. Hakuna Matata is a great quote. Like, there's so many quotes to this that, like, I use in my everyday life, or I've seen people use them in their everyday life, which doesn't normally happen with films. I use things like that, but I don't think that's normal. Yeah, I just love Scar. His personality is so amazing. He's such a Slytherin. And like Harry Potter Slytherin, I just put two fandoms in together, and I love Harry Potter, so yeah. I just find it, he's just an amazing villain, and what he wants makes sense, which sometimes it doesn't make sense, and sometimes that makes them even more, like, evil. But I think with Scar, if it didn't make sense, it'd be really, really confusing. He was like, "Why do you want to kill your brother again?" So it makes sense why he wants the throne and what that's all about, especially when you think about, like, was he born with that scar? Is that just a mean nickname? Like, all that stuff. I think way too deeply into that, and it's just great. I love Lion King. Let's stop rambling and let's get into the facts. Okay, I have a ton. The place where I got these facts will be linked down in the description, so go check them out. It's a wonderful video. Down to Disney is a wonderful playlist, and the girl who does it knows her stuff, and I really enjoy it. So go check it out. It's awesome. Disney wanted to use this film to use animals to tell human stories like they had in the past, which is something that they do a lot now. Like with Zootopia, they do it a little less right now than they have, but they still do it a lot, and it works really well. And I think it's awesome when they do animal films. I do think that the ones with people are great and awesome too, but I do love movies about animals too. So one of the screenwriters called it Bambi in Africa, which is a little bit of Hamlet, and called it Bamblet. I just thought that was really fun. Producer John Hahn says that it is Shakespearean, with it having comedy and tragedy and many parts indirectly taken from Hamlet. So, like the part where Mufasa is in the sky, that's one part that is directly taken from something that happens in Hamlet. When, originally, an idea that they had for The Lion King is when Mufasa's down, like, trying to get Scar to help him, and then Scar is, like, putting his claws into Mufasa. He was gonna say a quote. They did not do that. They said, "Long live the king." They did not, yeah, so it's good. I like it. So Jonathan Taylor Thomas played young Simba, Matthew Broderick played adult Simba, James Earl Jones played Mufasa, Jeremy Irons played Scar, Whoopi Goldberg played Shenzi, and Frank Welker did all the lion roars. And yes, he is a person. He roars into trash cans. You might be saying, boo, that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life. But it's amazing. It's awesome. If you go on YouTube and you look it up, you can find something. I might link it down in the description if I can find it. So, I will try to link it down in the description because it is amazing. So, he's done a lot of animal sounds for the Disney company. He did Abu in Aladdin. They had Frank Welker do the lion sounds because they wanted each lion to have a distinct sound. And like I said, he roared into a trash can to make all the sounds. Hans Zimmer did the score and he did amazing. Tim Rice and Elton John did the songs and lyrics and they're amazing. Lebo M helped Hans Zimmer get the authentic African sound, and I think it really worked. I don't really know that much about African music, but I do, it's what I would imagine it sounding like, and from what I've heard from African music, it's very, very similar in making it and make sense for the story, and I think that's amazing. I love it. Lebo M does the opening for the Circle of Life, which is awesome. The opening to the Circle of Life is one of my favorite parts. It's just something I wish I could do something like that. It's so nostalgic and authentic to hear that, and you're just like, oh yes, let's go. At least I am. It's, you've heard it before, you know what I'm talking about. Can You Feel the Love Tonight was almost cut, which I can't imagine, but thankfully Jeffrey Katzenberg got some thoughts in his brain, and it was like, oh yeah, that's a bad idea, let's not do that. And then, look what happened because he didn't do that. They won an Academy Award for Best Original Song with Can You Feel the Love Tonight. See, Jeffrey Katzenberg, it's a good idea. Please stop trying to erase all the good songs. Because he tried to do that with Part of Your World too. And I'm not saying Jeffrey Katzenberg probably had what he wanted to do for his reasons, and I understand that there are going to be things that need to be cut, but it's such an amazing song, even if it did the audience was a little I don't think I would cut it, but that was his decision, and thankfully they didn't cut it though, because I love that song. Originally The Lion King was not going to be a musical and was going to have a National Geographic vibe, which I don't think would work. And maybe it's because I've never seen it, but I can't imagine 2D animals in a National Geographic type thing. And I don't really like National Geographic very much, which is another thing. So, yeah, I don't think it will work though. So, glad they didn't do that. Another thing that could have happened is it was going to be filmed with African styles and African colors and patterns, which I'm not sure how they would do, but I think that would be really cool if they did it in a way that made sense. I'm not sure how they would do it, but I think it would be cool. Originally Lion King was going to be called The King of the Jungle, but then they're like, oh yeah, lions don't live in the jungle. So they changed it to a safari. Interesting story. Wonderful. The production team took a trip to Africa to understand the environment, which I think really helped. I've never been to Africa, but it seems, from what I've had to learn about in school, it seems like it's pretty spot on. I liked it. I just love this movie, so yeah, it did well. Good job. Live animals were brought into the studio for animators, and I think this is awesome. I can't imagine being able to draw that. I'm terrible at drawing, so there's no way I would ever make it as an animator, or even a 3D animator, because I don't think I'd be able to sit still and do that for hours on end. it's a cool process, but I don't think I would be able to do it. For the wildebeest scene, this is a ton of information. I'll explain it a little bit later, after I go through it all, so it makes sense. So the wildebeest scene took 3 years to animate, which is already like, what? But let me go into this. They had to make a new computer system for this scene, and first they had to hand draw it, then they had to put it in the computer, and then they had to duplicate them to make sure none of them ran into each other, and then they had to pick colors that were obnoxious for each wildebeest, so that they could be like, hey, hot pink wildebeest needs to go somewhere else. It's running into the... What's another obnoxious color? Orange. That's not obnoxious, but it's a weird wildebeest color. They're running into each other. It's very strange, but it worked because the wildebeest scene is so memorable and I love it. Yeah. It's pretty good. I say that the hard work was worth it. But 3 years is a long time, and it's definitely, like, will always be in my memory, and I love that scene with a passion, but also 3 years is a long time. But good job for doing something for 3 years, like, can't imagine. But it's awesome. Also, I want to go back in time and see, like, all these people be like, the hot pink wildebeest is running into the blue one. Like, I just think that'd be so funny. I don't know why. I just love to go back to, like, Disney animation when it was 2D and see how that works, because I love seeing 2D animation, and I wish they would do more of it. The Princess and the Frog is one of my favorite Disney animated movies of all time. It's awesome. I love the 2D animation in that movie. So the creators the characters that were cut are a brother Frenella, a father Frenella from a different pride, in a rhino with a tick bird on its back, which would later become Zazu, a python, and a python that would be working for Scar. Pumbaa was the first Disney character to fart in a film, and I guess, Disney doesn't normally go, like, overboard with those kind of jokes, which is part of the reason I love them so much, because children when target audience is children, you normally see a lot of that, and Disney really doesn't do that very much, so, it was the first time, though, so, I guess it didn't really take over, so, and it was a small joke, so I find it okay. Pumbaa is the first Disney character, I just said that. Everyone thought Pocahontas would be... Okay, this is going to be a long story, and I'm already at 23 minutes, so this is going to be a long video. Everyone thought Pocahontas would be the hit. I'll talk more about this in my Pocahontas video, but just so you get, like, a general idea of what it is, so that it makes sense in my Pocahontas video. Pocahontas would be the hit. So they put all the A-team people, which are the better animators and people with more experience, and all the B-team people, which have less experience and are younger and haven't done much as much stuff as the A people, onto Lion King. And Pocahontas, they thought Pocahontas would be the big thing. Of course it wasn't. Pocahontas is not the best. Its music is amazing. I love the music, but it's not the best film, in my opinion. And not even comparable to Lion King. But just so you understand, they put the better people on Pocahontas and the people that they thought wouldn't do as well on Lion King. And big bucks. They got Lion King. Did well. So, Lion King is the highest 2D animated movie ever. The highest grossing 2D animated movie ever. The highest animated movie is Frozen, but the highest 2D is Lion King. And it is still the best, has sold the most home video releases with 55 million copies. Jim Cummings sang a lot of Be Prepared for Jeremy Irons. I don't know why they don't put like Jim Cummings and Jeremy Irons on the like Spotify or whatever you listen to thing, because he sang a large portion of that song. A large portion of the song was not Jeremy Irons, it was Jim Cummings, and if you don't know who Jim Cummings is, he's amazing. Jim Cummings is Ed in this movie, as I've already talked about. He plays Tigger, he plays Pooh, he is basically the guy who stood in for Sterling Holloway and does all of his characters now. And he's just awesome. If you don't know who he is, go check him out. There's like videos of all the characters he does, and he just voices them just like that. He'd change, and I don't understand how anyone could do that, and he's so talented. 100% recommend to look at the videos where he like does all his voices, because it's amazing. And then, yeah, that's all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I do a ton of reviews and reactions and that stuff. I do Marvel reviews. I am going to, my next Marvel film that I'm going to review is Iron Man, because I'm doing them in order of when the plot is, not in order of when they're released, like I'm doing with Disney. I hope you are having a wonderful day and stay safe. Bye!